Hello and welcome to a bonus video from MinnMax. MinnMax is a place about games, friends, and getting better. I'm Ben Hanson, joined by Kyle Hilliard.
The sane one.
Kyle, this week has been really interesting. Previously on MinnMax's YouTube channel, we talked to Sarah Scholes, who's a science journalist and kind of covers the UFO beat. She's a reporter for Wired and stuff, and talked about the rise of UFOs, whatever you want to call them, and the fact that the Pentagon's just like, I don't know, look at this footage. You tell us what you think it is. And then,
let's get it up on Reddit. They can figure it out.
But then this week, it feels like it is an overdrive where 60 Minutes had an awesome report, kind of just summarizing some things. They had one new account from somebody in the military telling her side of the story. And then just this entire week, it's been bubbling back up. And just today, Harry Reid, former senator, wrote a short piece for the New York Times talking about his history and the fact that, 2007, we got this investigation rolling. The videos you're seeing is they're kind of coming out of that system.
The thing that cracks me up about all this is I'm worried about you, man. Yeah. Are you turning into one of those guys? Because you're like,
oh yeah.
You sent me a message. You're like, look, I gotta talk about UFOs with somebody. Please watch these videos, please. And I watched them, and they're really, they are fascinating. It is interesting because the big takeaway for me is because you kind of see some of the stuff and you're like, shouldn't we be flailing our hands in the air and freaking out? But really what it comes down to is it's the sort of confirmed thing is these military professionals are being look, we're not saying this is aliens. We're very skeptical about this. It's something that we can't explain, which exists in nature a lot. But it's just weird that it is very strange to see the evidence. And then you're just kind of I don't know what that is. And these people who make this their living don't either. That's really interesting, you know?
Yeah. And so I agree that the leap to aliens is maybe too much, even though, full disclaimer, I am super in the bag for this stuff. I love aliens.
I want it to be aliens.
I desperately want to believe. I am so into this thing. But even I am maybe on the other side of the spectrum there, where it's this is fascinating, totally believe these are real accounts, real footage. At the same time, it's I think everyone leaping to aliens is doing an injustice to what this could be. And, talking to some friends and stuff, it's just am I more naive for thinking this is some other dimensional or hidden society, secret civilization? That I think is more likely. Even though I believe aliens exist, I am not convinced that there are aliens on Earth driving these funky Tic Tacs around the ocean.
They call them Tic Tacs. So you know what made me think about? You watch fantasy movies for kids about let's say there's this instance where these kids had to save the world, right? There's some threat that we don't know about as to the general public. The Men in Black, right? They just take care of some hidden threat and we never see any evidence of it. And I think about that of I wonder if maybe that's what's happening here. Maybe there's some children on a Spielberg-like adventure where they're, riding in some alien ship and saving the world, and we don't know about it, and this is the only evidence that we see of it. They completed their mission in saving the world.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I think that's right.
Or there's just a crazy doctor, who's the Dragon Ball scientist, Dr. Jarreau?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's a bad example because he was widely known across that world, but maybe there's this mad scientist who's just millennia ahead of modern science, who's just doing his own experiments, and it's this one just happened to get caught on video.
That is a fantastic theory. I love it. So there's other things that we haven't mentioned, on James Corden's hard-hitting news show, late night talk show, Reggie Watts, of all people, asked Barack Obama about UFOs. And this is honestly my favorite thing to see on a TV is presidents being asked, lightly interrogated about what they know about aliens. And Obama has usually been pretty tight with this stuff to a frustrating degree, because here's the problem. It's every interview with every president, especially in these late night shows, when they ask about it, the audience laughs, everybody laughs, and so rarely is somebody no, I'm dead serious. You can't just be I saw E.T. when I was a kid too. Moving on.
Yeah.
And so even though it was way too jokey, this was what Barack Obama said on James Corden's late night show. He says, what is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they move, their trajectory. They do not have an easily explainable pattern. And so, I think that people still take seriously trying to investigate and figure out what that is. Which is awesome to hear him say that. I mean, Harry Reid in this New York Times piece he talks about, building up the task force and the fact that there is a deadline in June for a public report about what people know about these phenomenon. But he kind of concludes by being like, we don't know for sure what it is. We're not saying it's aliens. It could still be easily explainable by something else, but it's worth looking into. But he also says...
and also, a lot of those people are saying, like, it could be a scary foreign country,
which I also don't think is...
that we understand.
I think that's nuts to be like, I think it's China.
Well,
it's like, you're out of your minds.
All options on the table, you know what I mean?
Except for that stupid option, Kyle. I don't think it's that. But here's what Harry Reid said. He says, as a Democratic senator from Nevada, I visited Area 51, the top secret Air Force testing site in southern Nevada, long associated with UFO-related conspiracy theories. What I saw fascinated me, though much of it must remain classified. And look, he's a politician. He loves attention. He loves being cheeky like this, especially a retired politician. Everyone's just shooting up a flare for please pay attention to me. But I love that little bit of a tease. And like, what's confusing about Harry Reid is previously, I believe we talked about this in an interview with Sarah Scholes on MinnMax from a while ago, but he had some crazy quotes in a New York Times article talking about the fact that we had like wreckage from some of these ships. But then he redacted that and came back and had a retraction and be like, actually, I misspoke. It was kind of taken out of context. And so Harry Reid is also a little bit fishy for what he's actually sticking to about what he knows and what he doesn't and stuff. But plenty of fascinating stuff. But yeah, you're right, Kyle. I am super on board for this stuff. Did I tell you my UFO story, Kyle?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Buckle up.
This is the spark? This is what led you to be the person you are today, messaging me to talk about UFOs?
No, that was probably, seeing Close Encounters at a young age and being like, this movie is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Very good movie.
Underrated. But
honestly, yeah, let's do an aside on that. I feel like we don't talk about that movie enough.
Absolutely. I have friends who are like, yeah, I like Spielberg. No, I've never seen that old movie. I'm like, oh my God. If you just want a good slow burn about UFOs, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's got Francois Truffaut in it as a scientist. Come on.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle knows a name.
Ooh, French directors.
But no, okay, so here's something that I have rarely talked about because I am bracing for people to tell me this is nothing, you're an idiot, here's the easily explainable version of what happened. But I've tracked it all down. So I was hanging out at a friend's house, Grant, star of Hitman 3, and it was up in Columbia Heights, Minnesota. And I was biking back home, and this was at 12:30 at night, biking back home. And I'm biking on this dark street, and I look up, and there are 3 lights in the sky. Like 3 separate points pretty far out, but moving at the same rate across the sky with kind of like an orangey light, not blinking, constant light. And I was just transfixed about like, what could this be? Obviously, you always get confused about like satellites and stuff. I think those are UFOs, but like, no, these were closer to Earth than just a satellite. And they were clearly like an orange light. And there were 3 of them all moving at the exact same rate. But it's not like it was a huge Dorito object. You could see the stars in between that. It was just like 3 smaller objects, or maybe they were up a little bit higher, moving along. Do you have any explanation for what that could be, Kyle?
3 very far away planes in a formation.
A plane, okay. Not blinking.
Sure.
Okay. And then here,
I don't know. I mean, I think that's an interesting story. I think that's fun. I've certainly looked up in the sky and seen like weird trails and stuff. And to the point where I'm like, I need to take a picture of this.
Yeah.
Because like if this shows up in the news or something, I want to know what this is. But I don't know, man. I mean, that to me kind of does sound like there would be some kind of logical explanation to it.
I would think so.
Something in the sky, some kind of airplane or something. But I
would think so. But then what about this wrinkle? I kept biking. 5 minutes later, I see one more. I believe it's heading in a slightly different direction. I'm trying to do the math of where I was standing. Maybe it was the same direction. But I saw one more. It wasn't a formation of 3. It was completely by itself with an orange light. And it was lower, flying overhead. And this one was lower because I could see that it was like blocking out some of the stars. So I could see there was actually like a little bit of a shape there. And it was with an orange light. And the crazy thing is there was a plane flying higher than it that kind of crossed its path, but the plane was clearly a plane with like blinking lights. And this was like the orange light that was constant heading over. And then I know that there's a physical shape there because as it passed by and kept on going, then like the orange light diminished, like it was on the front of this thing. And then whatever the body of the object was obscuring the light as it went along.
Was this cell phone era or this was pre-cell phone?
Kyle, I will now send you footage of these two clips, and you can try to help me understand what I'm looking at here.
Oh, do you literally have footage of it?
I literally have footage of it.
Oh.
Let's see. Believe it or not.
I'm thinking Goodyear blimp. That's my first guess.
Ooh, solid. I don't know if you'll be listening to audio here, Kyle, but the crazy thing, silence. You can hear crickets. You can hear a train in the distance. There is no noise coming from these things. I think you can even hear
a handful of musical notes.
Just repeated endlessly. See, this is the problem. You laugh. You laugh at this stuff, Kyle. I want the internet's help to try and understand what I saw, man.
Okay. All I see is a street lamp so far.
Oh, you're saying it was a street lamp?
So those, in the video, those lights don't look like they're moving. But that's just I think that's just the perspective of the video, right?
Yeah, they're definitely moving.
Okay. I don't know. I gotta say, Hanson, if I saw that in the sky, I don't think I would blink too much. I don't think it would catch my attention the way it has caught yours. Well, but I also don't know what it is. That's not me saying I know what it is. That's just me saying it doesn't seem that strange in the video, but it's a whole different situation when you're there in person.
It's like if you're trying to take a picture of the moon, you know, and it's like, oh, that's a full moon. It looks cool. You take a picture of it, it looks like crap. But like when you're there, it was, believe it or not, much more impressive. Okay, now here's the one.
Okay, I got one pulled up now. Oh, this one looks a little weirder because the lights are moving like separately.
You can actually see.
Oh, so the flashing light you think is an airplane?
It is an airplane. Yep.
Yeah. That one's a little more damning. This one's a little odd.
It was closer. This one I could actually see the rough out, like it had some shape. Those obscuring stars above it.
Weird stuff, man.
Do you have any theory?
I mean, I think I would assume it's probably like some kind of totally legal airship of some kind that we just don't see that often because you're not usually looking at the sky.
Completely silent? It's like even drones make noise, but that's the best I can figure is like 3 drones flying at 12:30 at night in formation, locked in. That seems so insane to me.
Yeah,
and so
maybe. It's weird.
Thank you. So I went home and immediately was like checking out Twitter, like seeing if anybody in the Twin Cities was talking about UFOs. Nobody. Like, as far as I can tell, nobody talked about this. And it was very frustrating that I just had to sit on this mediocre cell phone footage for all these years about like, God, I should do something with this. I should talk about it, but I feel like an asshole.
Well, platform. This is why you founded MinnMax.
Platform!
It's all been leading to this.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But any help letting me know what that is. And again, why I'm skeptical is because like, I want to have seen a UFO so desperately that that's why I'm trying to second guess myself instead of just being like, guess what, world? I survived a UFO encounter, right?
I want it to be some proof of extraterrestrial life. I want nothing more than that in my life.
Yeah, it would be nice. But hey, if you're in the mood to check out Aliens, you'd probably enjoy a big old game discussion about Mass Effect. Right now we're doing the deepest dive on Mass Effect 1. It is the best, most thorough discussion about Mass Effect 1 on the internet. We have the first discussion airing now. It's on our YouTube channel, so any help checking that out, sharing it with another Mass Effect fan is appreciated. We spent over 3 hours talking about the game up until you leave the Citadel. So it's a lot about dissecting alien politics. If you're into aliens and alien speculation, you're probably into alien politics and probably into Mass Effect if you found the MinnMax YouTube channel. So we hope you enjoyed that very thorough discussion. It's a very fun chat. Kyle, if I could just leave you with one key phrase, it's keep watching the skies. You know what? This is a problem. I found myself making the stupid joke from The Thing. It should be straight. Hey, everybody, keep watching the skies. Please. Thank you so much for watching.
UAP.
Content like this exists because of you. Thank you so much for subscribing on YouTube, sharing it with a friend, and especially for supporting MinnMax on Patreon. Supporters at any tier on Patreon unlock access to MinnMax's Discord, the friendliest place on the internet, where you can compete in game trivia every month to win prizes with our show Trivia Tower. Thanks so much for watching and sharing our stuff, everybody.